Hi everyone, my name is Joey Perugino. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. The topic of my presentation will be on Agile is the new normal. I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to walk you through an Agile transformation that I took part in my workplace. Um, my name is Joey Perugino and I'm from Montreal, Canada. These are the topics that I want to talk about today. Okay, so we're going to start with what are the steps to agilizing your organization, agile being the new normal. We're going to talk about instilling agile principles. What are the basic agile principles that an organization needs to integrate into its culture if it is going to be successful in its transformation? What's a recipe for success? What are the ingredients that you need in order to be able to transform your organization to make it become more agile? And we're going to talk about the importance of creating a community around you, having some champions that help bring forward the message that the organization is changing and we're introducing a new way of doing things. Okay, so with that being said, let's begin. Okay, so first off, a little bit about me. So I have a career that spans more than 25 years in the field of project management. I've done some consulting. I worked in the banking industry. I did some PMO implementations. I've done a lot of coaching and mentoring. I've worked in many different industries and for many different types of clients. I work with clients essentially, they always contract me for the same thing, to help them solve challenging project management problems and help create projectized environments that help organizations deliver projects on time, deliver sustainability. I'm a member of the PMI chapters of Montreal and of Guayaquil. I'm from Montreal, but my wife is from Ecuador, so I do spend some time there, and in order to, I guess, learn about their culture and learn a little bit about the ways in which they deliver projects or do project management in South America. I've become involved, or I've collaborated with the chapter in Guayaquil. It's been in place now for a few years, and they're doing a lot of things. They're very active, which is something that I like to see. I also host a meetup where we get together to talk about project management. It's an online meetup. It's a virtual meetup that we do via Zoom. The topic of the name of my meetup is Let's Talk Project Management. So it's a topic, it's a meetup where we really talk about anything and everything that has to do with project management, how to start in project management, how to build a career, what are the next steps, what are the things that we should be learning, new concepts and theories. We talk about agility, we talk about traditional waterfall management, project management. And this is a meetup that I do in English, and I also do it in French. Montreal, the city where I live, is a bilingual city. It's actually the second largest French city in the world. And the PMI chapter is really, really very active. So I'm very, very happy to be able to contribute and collaborate with them and help and grow the community. Okay, so what are the steps to agilizing your organization? The first step is kind of to take a step back and try to do an as is. Map out the processes. Get a clear picture for how the situation is right now. Try to gain an understanding of how people do things. their projects are being delivered, whether they're agile or waterfall. Projects are being delivered. There's timelines that are followed. You have a budget every year to do many different kinds of initiatives. That's not going to change. This is not something that needs to be transformed. You have to take that into consideration when you want to start agilizing your organization. First of all, it's getting a clear picture of how things are, and starting from there. You don't have to start from zero. Every single organization is different. The roadmap will be different. Getting a good understanding of where you start from is a part of the equation. Okay, and once you get a clear picture, then you have to establish some goals, build a timeline, where you want to do things, and key milestones, that you want to reach in X amount of time. Transformations are not things that are done overnight. It takes time, and you need to be able to fix some goals of things that you want to achieve, and by when you want to achieve them from, and then you measure, you adapt, and you map out your process, your next steps based on the progress that you're making on reaching the goals that you've set out for yourself. In order to be able to succeed in agilizing your organization, you're going to need to build a team around you of Scrum Masters, of Agile champions, of people that really believe in what you're doing, people in upper management that believe in the principles that you're trying to bring forward. The transformation needs to be aligned with the strategic orientation of the organization. Getting that, that buy-in from senior management, from C-level class of executives is key. If you don't have it, you're not going to succeed. So it's really clear before you do anything, to get their support. Then you have to institute some agile practices, define some really key concepts that you want the organization to keep in mind. Some of the principles of agility, they should be integrated in the new way of doing things. Basically, as the topic of the presentation is, Agile is a new normal. That means that whatever was status quo, whatever the old normal is not going to remain. You're sort of in an in-between phase where you're introducing new things as fast as the organization can integrate them and assimilate those things, but you're introducing new things. And this is how you sort of, map out your process. You need to define what your rollout strategy is going to be. You want to maybe start by just doing one project with some sprints, and maybe a Scrum Master, a product owner. You sort of do some kind of experiment with them, and the experience or the knowledge that you're going to get from doing this one project is going to give you a lot of cues as to where you need to change, the things you need to adapt. What are the parts that are easy for you? What are the parts that the organization struggled a little bit more with? It's sort of a proof of concept, and it's very important to do that. You can't go right in and say, okay, as of tomorrow, all our projects are going to be delivered with Scrum. We're going to use Kanban. We're going to take away all the foundations, the manners in which we were doing things. Can't be done. So you have to define a rollout as to how are you going to do it, and map out basically, the speed at which you're going to get it. Again, tying that in to the goals that you set at the beginning, where you want it to reach, where you want it to be in X amount of time. In order for you to be able to succeed, you need to, I guess, train your organization, all the stakeholders on the principles of agility. They need to understand, what are the ceremonies, what's waterfall versus what is agility. They need to understand basically, the things that are going to be changed, the things that will remain the same, and simply understand some of the key principles, as I stated earlier, of agility. Training is a very, very important step in agilizing your organization. You will find a lot of people that are resistant to becoming agile. They're very comfortable in the way that they were doing things. It will take time to bring them there, but you have to start by explaining to them what agility is all about. And from there, hold their hand and bring them to the promised land, basically. You have to create a lot of supportive, I guess, artifacts. And I think the Agile community is very good at that. There's a lot of really cool templates and things of the sort that explain all the different ceremonies and the steps and the steps that need to be followed in order to be agile and transform your organization. Make use of that. Customize them as per the needs of your organization. But definitely, they need to be able to have something that they can refer to, and something that's visual, that's appealing, is just going to make that a lot easier for people to assimilate. You have to embed coaches in every single division. And these are kind of your champions, that explain people that how to be agile. What are the steps that need to be done? They help the Scrum Masters, they help the product owners, they help the development team. It's very difficult to do a transformation without agile champions, without coaches. It's a team effort. It's really a collaborative effort, and it has to be throughout the entire organization. If we don't get the buy-in of everyone, and you don't get the necessary support, it's going to be difficult to succeed. I mean, the organization where I am right now, they've really put a lot of effort into doing these things, and it's starting to pay off. And they've asked us, also to for input on what improvements they can do, what things can be changed, what works, what doesn't work, things of the sort. And that again is really key. Your community sometimes knows more what you need to do than you do yourself. So it's very important to always listen and to be flexible. You need to measure, adjust where required, and redetermine where you take note of where you're at and what steps you need to take in order to be able to get to the next point that you want to get to. Okay, so what are the 4 basic principles that any organization that wants to become agile needs to integrate into its mindset, into the manner in which they go about doing anything and everything that's project related? So 4 basic principles of agility are individuals and interactions over processes and tools, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, working software over comprehensive documentation, and responding to change over following a plan. These are ingrained, I guess, in the Agile mindset. It's very different from the classic waterfall way of doing things. So it's very important before you go about doing anything that this is communicated over and over and over again. Wash, rinse, repeat, basically, until people start believing, living those principles. It needs to become a part of their everyday life. They can't be afraid, for example, to make mistakes, to try. Agility sometimes is starting things without having everything really clearly mapped out. You do an increment and you learn, and from there you move on to the next sprint and you do another increment of something. But the idea is that every time you build something, you have to have all of the necessary components in order to be able to build something that is fully functional in itself, which is a different way of doing things than the traditional manner to deliver projects. So we've talked a little bit about the recipe for success before, and this is a simple recipe. I like it because it kind of looks like the ingredient to do a cake or something like that, but it's the ingredients to do, it's a magic potion to be able to transform your organization, to making Agile becoming more normal, the new normal. So in order to be able to be successful, you need to have all those ingredients. If you don't have one of them, it becomes more difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's more difficult to successfully transform your organization. So you need some Agile coaches. You need to have some Scrum Masters. You need some product owners. You need an Agile champion. At least for each division, there needs to be one person in every division, at least, that truly believes in the benefits of what you're trying to push forward. You need to communicate, over-communicate, time and time again, and reinforce, I guess, the principles and the things that you're trying to bring forward. Your message should be clear and it should be aligned throughout the organization. Everybody needs to be saying exactly the same thing. And this needs to be coming from top down and from bottom up. And also you need to have a lot of training. There's new resources that are brought forward all the time. They need to understand the manner of doing things, the way of working, as they say in Discipline Agile. They need to understand what the wow is for this particular organization, and this can only be done if you do a lot of training. Training on the Agile principles, training on many different topics that have to do with how DevOps works and things of the sort. It's really key, and by doing that, you make sure that your team is always current, that they know all the best practices, and that they have the best tools in order to be able to succeed in successfully delivering their projects. So one of the important principles, and I put a slide just for this because I really believe that this is one of the key elements of succeeding in making your organization more agile. You need to create a community of people around you that help bring this revolution, this new way of working forward. So you need to create communities of practice. So there's communities of practice for the Scrum Masters, for the product owners, for the development teams, for the designers, the architects, for many different types of things, and they all need to be getting together, sharing their best practices, sharing the things that work, the things that need to be improved. It has to be employee driven, and this is something that should be encouraged, supported in every way that the organization can. One sign of positive change in the workplace is a rise of employee-driven communication rather than communication that's initiated by leaders. At the organization where I am right now, there are many communities of practice that have been put forward, and they've really grown to have a lot of members, and it's very dynamic. Every week there's somebody else that presents on a different topic and things of the sort, and it's really great to get an opportunity to get together and exchange. The world of technology is a world that changes all the time, so just having an opportunity to get together, talk, exchange on all the different topics, and the manners in which we can deliver projects and make things more fluid, I guess, is really key. So this also helps build transparency. It helps make everyone be on the same line, and the organization can learn a lot from that and adapt its roadmap in order to be able to follow the learning of the organization. Okay, so with that, I'd just like to take a moment to say thanks to the organizing committee for putting this together. It's really an honor for me to be able to be with you today. If you want to reach out to me, well, you can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Joey Perugino. You can also attend one of my Let's Talk Project Management meetups, which I hold about once a month, like I said. So I hope I get the chance to exchange with you. Look forward to this event. I'm sure that it's going to be fantastic. And salutations, everyone. Hello from Montreal, Canada.